The Sega Master System is a console that I discovered within the last 3 years, and I absolutely fell in love with it. As you can see behind me, I am collecting for the Sega Master System, trying to go for a complete North American set, of which there were around 110 games or so. The Sega Master System was not very popular in North America, but it absolutely exploded in Europe. It was huge in Europe, and as a result, the library had a hell of a lot more games. There are a lot of hidden gems for the Sega Master System in North America, but there are even more hidden gems in the PAL territory. So in today's video, we are going to take a look at 5 PAL exclusive hidden gems for the Sega Master System. All of the games in today's video were provided to me by my friend in the UK, Leon Harris, aka SFX Leon. So shout out to Leon for providing the list. So without further ado, folks, let's get into the list of 5 PAL exclusive hidden gems for the Sega Master System. Asterix and the Secret Mission was released in 1993 as a PAL exclusive for both the Sega Master System and the Sega Game Gear. It is a 2D side-scrolling platformer where you take on the roles of either Asterix or Obelix in a mission to save their village from the Romans. You have your typical 2D platforming mechanics, but there is a bit of a twist to the gameplay. At the start of the game and in between levels, you get to choose between Asterix or Obelix, and the way you play the level will completely change depending on who you choose. Asterix is smaller and faster and has the ability to double jump, and he also has a downward fist attack for killing enemies and busting blocks. Obelix is large and slow, but his fist attack has a better range and he can headbutt blocks above him and do a butt slam on enemies or blocks. This is cool because it provides a fair bit of replayability, as you could play through the entire game as Asterix and then again as Obelix and have a fresh experience. Another note on the controls is that they are very responsive and feel really good. The difficulty is not too bad. Like any good platformer of that era, you simply have to learn the level and enemy patterns, but in this game it rarely feels unfair. There are secrets to find in the levels and plenty of enemies and traps to deal with, and some levels even feature puzzles. The graphics are nice and colorful and bright and vibrant, and all the sprites and animations are really impressive. The sound design is really good as well, with many over-the-top sounds as you play the game, and the music is quite good and catchy at times. Asterix and the Secret Mission is a great game, and it's also the first game that I played in the series, so now I need to check out the rest of the series. But it's definitely a hidden gem on the Sega Master System, and it is a PAL exclusive, and I highly recommend that you all check it out. Bonanza Bros is a shooting platform game that was released as a PAL exclusive on the Sega Master System in 1990, and it later came out in North America on the Sega Genesis in 1991. Bonanza Bros was originally an arcade game from Sega before it was ported over to consoles. In the game, you take on the role of either Robo or Mobo and try to stealth your way through buildings while avoiding or stunning guards. In each level, you have to find and steal a certain number of items before the time runs out and escape to the roof. Controls are very simple, with you being able to move, jump, and shoot your gun to stun enemies, but you can also move behind columns or large furniture to hide or dodge enemy attacks. If you get hit too many times or run out of time, you will lose a life and drop all the items, and you have to start all the way over from the beginning of the stage. There are around 12 different stages in the game, everything from a bank to a casino and even a pyramid. There are several different enemy types, and they are all relatively easy to deal with once you learn their patterns. It is not a very challenging game, but it's quite fun, and the graphics are pretty nice as well, and the music is pretty catchy. Bonanza Bros is not a game that I could see myself playing for long stretches of time, but it's definitely a game that you can play in short bursts, and I enjoy it quite a bit. It's pretty addictive, I'm not gonna lie. Master of Darkness is a 2D side-scrolling action game similar to the Castlevania series, and it was released as a PAL exclusive on the Sega Master System in 1993. It was released in North America on the Game Gear as well in 1993 as Vampire Master of Darkness. In Master of Darkness, you take on the role of a psychologist who sets out to defeat Jack the Ripper and Dracula. You will fight your way through 5 rounds consisting of 3 stages each, and each round ending in a boss fight. Just like in Castlevania, you move slowly and cannot jump very high, and you can move up and down stairs. Also, just like Castlevania, you have a primary weapon and a secondary weapon. There are 4 different primary weapons, being a dagger, a cane, a rapier, and hammer, each with their own range and damage output. You get various long-range secondary weapons which consume ammo, such as a pistol and bombs. The goal in each stage is simply to make it to the end while dealing with the various enemies, some of which are a pain in the ass like the damn bats I can't seem to hit. The graphics and animation are quite nice, with a nice dark color palette to fit the dark gothic theme. The music in Master of Darkness is absolutely fantastic and very melodic, dark, and catchy. Here, take a listen. At the end of the day, Master of Darkness is simply a Castlevania clone, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because it's a great game. It has fantastic controls, really good gameplay, and it's just all around solid. I highly recommend that you check it out, especially if you're a fan of the Castlevania series. Originally released in the arcades in 1988, the New Zealand story was released as a PAL exclusive for the Sega Master System in 1992. It was also ported to the Sega Mega Drive, and it came out on the NES in North America under the name Kiwi Craze. In the New Zealand story, you play as a Kiwi named Tiki who sets out to save his girlfriend Fee and his other friends who were kidnapped by a large blue leopard seal. Yeah, it's pretty silly. The game consists of 4 zones each with 4 maze-like rounds and a boss at the end of each zone. The controls and gameplay are pretty simple as you run, jump, and shoot while avoiding and killing various enemies. Your attack is a projectile with infinite ammo, and you start out with arrows, but you can find other attacks such as bombs and fireballs, and they all function a little bit different. The goal of each round is to save a caged Kiwi chick at the end. The levels tend to be somewhat non-linear and maze-like at times, with plenty to explore and secrets to find as you scroll through the levels. There are also vehicles you can find and steal from enemies to be able to navigate the levels faster and easier. But I'll say this is a pretty damn hard game, as if you get hit even one time you are dead, and there are not very many lives in the beginning before that dreaded game over screen. The one big negative I have is that you only get 3 lives, and the only way to get more is to find the extend letters for an extra life, and there are no freaking continues. The New Zealand story is hard enough as it is, but that just makes it downright brutal. And I'll go ahead and say right now, in case you can't tell from the gameplay, I suck at this game. I could probably get better, but I have very little patience. I'm still having fun though. The graphics are nice and colorful and vibrant, but the music is honestly a little bit repetitive and annoying. Now, despite some of the negatives that I have about the New Zealand story, I still enjoy it quite a bit, even though it makes my blood pressure skyrocket. So I recommend the game, especially if you like a challenge. Scramble Spirits is a vertical shmup released by Sega in the arcades in 1988, and it was also ported as a PAL exclusive to the Sega Master System in 1988 as well. In Scramble Spirits, you are in a plane that shoots machine guns for air combat and rockets for ground combat. Like any good shoot 'em up, you will spend your time avoiding enemies and enemy fire while also shooting and killing everything in your path and collecting power-ups, and of course, boss fights. Just like many shoot 'em ups, if you get hit one time, you're dead, but the game generously gives you 3 continues with 4 lives per continue. As far as power-ups go, you can acquire 2 comrade fighters that stay next to you, and you can assign them to fight in the air with you for more machine gun fire, or to fight against the ground for more rocket fire. You can also send them forth to crash into enemies and then retrieve them as long as you don't shoot them. Scramble Spirits is not a hard game at all. It's a relatively easy shoot 'em up, which makes it a great game for people that are not great at shoot 'em ups, kind of like me. Despite it being easy, it's still a fun game with tight controls. The boss fights are pretty fun, the enemies are pretty varied, it feels pretty good to play, honestly. The graphics are also pretty good, and the music's not too bad either. So Scramble Spirits doesn't do anything really new or groundbreaking in the shoot 'em up genre, but it is a very solid game that plays good and controls good, and it's pretty fun, so I recommend it for fans out there of shoot 'em ups. Well, there you have it, folks. 5 PAL exclusive Sega Master System hidden gems. Shout out once again to my friend Leon Harris for providing me with today's list. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure and hit that like button. Let me know in the comments down below if you've played any of the 5 games in today's video and what you think about them. Also, let me know in the comments down below if there are any other hidden gems on the Sega Master System, whether they be from North America or PAL exclusive. Throw those in the comments down below so that I can cover them in a future video. As always, folks, I appreciate you tuning in to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button so you can join the RetroWolf family. Stay safe out there, keep playing games and having a good time, and I will see you all in the next video. Later.